The Shape of Water. You did not go see The Shape of Water.
Mm-mm.
I went to go see The Shape of Water. I actually watched this one with Zach. We were both pretty excited to see this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Looks really great from the trailers. I was hearing some pretty great things. Obviously, Guillermo del Toro was nominated won for Best Picture at the Golden Globes, which ain't saying much to me.
Director.
Best Director. Yeah, Best Director. Sorry.
Yeah, 2 other movies won Best Picture already.
I'm so sorry. Best Director. Thank you.
Yeah,
Best Director.
I
Thank you for catching me.
I caught you on that one because if we had uploaded it with that still in there, comment section explosion.
Oh, I would take it though. I would take it. I would take anything, guys. Leave me some comments.
Okay, Best Picture then.
Okay, no. Okay, so Best Director. I don't like I said, I don't recognize fake award shows.
Yeah, okay.
So Best Director.
Not my award show.
Hashtag not my award show. Okay, so. Anyways, all right, Arch. Sorry, Archie the dog is right over here. Anyways, so The Shape of Water. Let me try to set this movie up here. This movie is set during the Cold War era, so early 60s. Okay, yeah, sorry, early 60s. What's up?
I thought the Cold War was like 70s, 80s territory, or did it run that long?
It started early 60s.
Oh.
Okay. All right.
Forgive me.
All right, so anyways, the Cold War era. So, set in the early 60s in Baltimore. Early 60s Baltimore. Michael Shannon plays a colonel in the military. I didn't say who he served for. I'm assuming maybe Army or something. I don't know. He plays a colonel. And they don't show this part, but they set it up to where it's saying where he locates this fish man creature, and the fish man creature is taken to a military research facility where they want to run tests on it and try to keep it from the Russians and all. So that's basically the setup for the movie. The characters. The character Elise, who's played by Sally Hawking, and her translator, who's played by Octavia Spencer. They're both janitors in this research facility. And as janitors do, they clean up in this area where they keep the fish man, and Elise, like I said, who's played by Sally Hawking's character, develops a relationship. Well, develops loosely a relationship with this fish man.
But we'll say like it establishes a connection.
Yes. Now, it establishes a connection with this. But, like I said, I wanted to use develop loosely because the development is kind of forced in this movie. There's not a lot of time given to that relationship to make it believable. It kind of just rushes into her romantic relationship with the fish man, played by who's the dude playing the fish man? Do you remember?
Doug Jones.
Doug Jones.
Yeah, anytime you see a creature in a Guillermo del Toro movie,
yes,
Doug Jones.
Yep. Now, I should point out that Pan's Labyrinth is by far, if I were to make a top 10 favorite movies of all time, Pan's Labyrinth is in that top 10 list. So Guillermo del Toro has made one of my favorite movies of all time, which is Pan's Labyrinth. And since then, he had not made a movie close that I felt was as good as Pan's Labyrinth, and this comes very close to that. Not very close. Close to that. It comes close to that. Closer than his other tries, anyways. But this was a very good movie. Cinematography was outstanding in this movie. The set design, beautiful. All the shots. It felt like a tribute to some older filmmaking. Some of the classic films. You can still tell that there was a lot of influence from older films in this movie. There's an out-of-place musical number in this movie. it's a dream sequence, but it's an out-of-place musical number in this movie. But like I said, the movie felt long, so the pacing felt a little off in this movie. It felt very long when it wasn't really all that long. The movie was only 2 hours and 3 minutes. So we were checking our watch a few times in this movie because it felt like it dragged on a little bit. And the third act was predictable, which is not what you want in the third act, I guess.
The third act in a movie like this.
But much like Pan's Labyrinth, this is a dark fairy tale movie. There's a lot of, not a lot, but there's quite a bit of gore in this movie. Some violence, and there's there's quite a bit of foul language, but this movie overall is an amazing performance piece for everybody. Sally Hawkins, amazing performance in this movie, without really having to say anything. She expresses emotion so well in this film that probably is maybe how you were able to feel this connection between her and the Fishman, because of how well she performed it. And Doug Jones, he did okay. I mean, he I don't know what to say about his performance. He played a fishman. So.
Yeah, he had to play a fishman falling in love with a human woman.
Yeah, he's no what's the other guy's name that does the motion capture?
Andy Serkis.
So there's no Andy Serkis performance here.
But can you really compare the two performances?
You can't. Because there's no emotion from this thing.
Because you got to take into account that Doug Jones's makeup.
Right.
He's actually there in the makeup as that creature.
So as far as the eye test, he works. He works pretty well. But I mean, like I said, there's not much for him to work with. So I shouldn't compare the two. If we're being honest, I shouldn't compare him with Andy Serkis, because Andy Serkis is outstanding whenever he does what he has to do. Mm-hmm. Where this is a little bit different. I mean, he does what Doug Jones does well in like Hellboy and stuff like that. He's excellent, and he was really good in like Pan's Labyrinth.
What they need to do with sidebar for a moment, till we bring up Andy Serkis, they need to do like they did with Snow White. They did that year. There was no animation category,
right? So
they made a special category and then gave Snow White the award,
right?
Make a special award just for Andy Serkis.
Right. Because the mocap is becoming more common in action films nowadays. Anyway, like the Marvel movies, almost every one of them has some kind of mocap, or even some of the Disney animated movies.
Yeah, but they're still not getting the respect that it deserves.
Right. So you can actually have some competition now.
Yeah,
if you really needed it.
Yeah,
but it would become the Andy Serkis award probably, because he does do it the best.
Yeah, he really does.
Anyways, back to The Shape of Water. Anyways, yes. Like I said, cinematography was great. Music in here was pretty cool. It's got a great score. But like I said, the biggest issues here was the pacing and some of the character development. There was a side story, I would call it, with Michael Stuhlbarg, or I want to say his name, Stuhlbarg, I think is what his name is. Stuhlbarg, no R, Stuhlbarg's character. That they could have spent less time on, so that way they could have developed the relationship between Elise and the Fishman, but they didn't. So that was not the best thing. But Richard Jenkins' character Giles, who plays basically Elise's best friend outside of work, he had a really cool story. Richard Jenkins, this is probably one of his best performances in a while. He's a great actor, so he always gives 110% anytime, and he's a great supporting character in any movie he's in. Mm-hmm. So he had a really cool, really heartbreaking, because that's the biggest theme in this movie, is that all these characters have some sort of void that can't be filled. And if you want to know what can fill, or what shape can fill these voids, it's the shape of water.
I see what you did there. Because it's the only thing that could take the shape it needs to take.
Yes, to fill these voids. Mm-hmm. So, that's his character struggles with or I don't know what to say, not abandonment, but he's very low. All these characters, ultimately, if you boil all their voids down to, it's loneliness. So Elise doesn't, like I said, she has no companion. Neither does Richard Jenkins' character, which they establish why he has this lack of companionship pretty well in the movie. And like Octavia Spencer, she's in a terrible marriage. So I mean, like I said, there's all these characters have their own little voids, and you find out how all of this can be established in this film. So, what would I give this movie as far as a score?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to give it an 8.5 out of 10. 8.5 out of 10. So, no. Yeah, 8.5. I'm happy with 8.5.
Okay.
I was maybe going up to like 8.9 to give it like a B plus, but 8.5 feels better.
Yeah. Okay.
Feels more proper.
Okay.
So, like I said, guys, I would recommend you go see this movie. Definitely in a theater. What was I gonna say? Sorry. If you have not seen Shape of Water, does our review make you want to go see it? If you have seen Shape of Water, let us know what you thought about it.
Mm-hmm.
Let us know in the comments what you think of Shape of Water. And if you agree with me, definitely let me know. If you don't agree with me, still let me know, but in a polite way.